Greetings! My name is Monty Martin.
And I'm Kelly McLaughlin.
And we are the Dungeon Dudes. Welcome to our channel where we discuss everything Dungeons & Dragons, including advice for players and guides for Dungeon Masters.
We upload new videos every Thursday, so please subscribe to our channel so that you never miss an episode.
Today we are taking an in-depth look and reviewing some very cool game accessories for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition and other tabletop role-playing games that have been sent to us by our really great friends at Tabletop Things.
Tabletop Things is sponsoring this video, but the opinions that we're going to share are straight up, honest opinions on all the cool accessories that they've sent us.
They've sent us some things that promise to enhance your game and wow your players with some really, really neat 2.5D woodcut terrain and accessories for D&D. So let's take a look at what they sent us. So the first thing they've sent us is a fun little Dungeoneers kit, a sample pack of their new subscription box, which is supposed to have some really cool woodcut terrain inside it.
Well, I'm excited. I guess we're going to need the sword of opening.
So having now unwrapped everything in this box, the smell of freshly laser-cut wood fills the room.
Honestly, before we even get into the box, the smell that is happening right now, it's like a log fireplace on a cold winter's day and you're huddled up with a blanket and some cocoa. I don't know.
Lovely.
I love the smell of this wood. It's so good.
So the pieces that we got in the box are enough to assemble one complete dungeon room. It's all laser cut wood and really nicely detailed with the grid right on there. And then we have added accessories like a boulder blocking the entrance and I think what looks like pillars and an altar.
I love the attention to detail here with like little rocks being drawn or carved into the wood here to give it just some detail to make sure that it's not just a typical grid map made of wood. You actually have little details that make it feel like a cave, and I like that.
Yeah, so this is their subscription box, and from what they've told us, they're going to be putting out a new one of these every month, and they should all link together and give a nice little collection of dungeon terrain to use in your games. So now Tabletop Things has also sent us their Cavern starter set and many of their expansion pieces. So whereas the previous ones were more of a square sort of dungeon environment, although with the wavy edges, I think it's still like a rough natural cave. This one is more a real underground cavern.
Yeah.
But all their pieces are all fitting together, so they're completely modular and rearrangeable. And we've even got a fair share of their really awesome passage pieces for building all sorts of these twisty, interconnecting little realms in there. And the entranceway.
Yeah, the little stairs entranceway. They give 2 of these, which you could use for a number of things. I could even see making this into like a little bridge over something. I don't know. There's a lot of versatility, considering that they're just they go together in almost every way, which I think is really cool. The 2.5D pieces, which means that it falls somewhere between 2-dimensional and 3-dimensional, gives you this nice little wall along the outside, which makes it very clear where the edges of the piece are. Your minis won't go flying off of it. It's very durable, but at the same time, it doesn't block the view of the minis, which is important. So they've also sent us their Ships and Docks bundle, which I'm very excited about.
So I was really excited to see this as well because this is something special. Sailing right in with their full-scale sailing ship. So if you're running a naval campaign or Ghosts of Saltmarsh, wow, this is something special.
It's completely modular. You can go onto all the decks, and it is attached by magnets, so you can actually pull the pieces right off for easy storage. And there's no glue, there's no complicated mechanism to actually put it all together. It's all just magnetized.
Yeah, it just completely disassembles.
And if you're more in the mood for something a little darker and scarier, they also have the ghost ship or
Love
the
this.
ruined
or the
ship.
Shipwreck. It's so cool. I just love the details on this thing with the rotted away kind of parts of the ship and the tattered sails on it. It's really, really gorgeous. And for those scenarios in Ghosts of Saltmarsh, which involve shipwrecks, perfect.
Eventually, every ship has to come into port, but they've thought of that as well.
These really beautiful dock pieces, they actually put the posts in with elastic bands to hold them into place. This is one of the first pieces that I saw by Tabletop Things because they made the rounds on a bunch of the terrain groups that I follow. And I really love how the natural wood is accented by the carvings inside it to create something that looks really quite realistic, but also meshes in with all the other terrain and pieces that I have too.
This is one of those pieces. This and the ships could be paired with almost any other type of terrain, and it would work really, really well.
Yeah. Tabletop Things does bundle their ships with the docks, so you can have your adventure out at sea, or when the ship comes into port and the players have to smuggle something onto or off of the boat, you're all ready for both of those scenarios. They sent us this stack of inspiration tokens that you can hand out. So they're wood cut, they're engraved with inspiration. But what I love about them is that you can put your dice right inside to mark that there's the extra die that you're going to roll when you have inspiration.
It's really fun, really genius, and just a simple way to remind yourself of things that are going on in your game. They sent us a whole bunch of these, and like every player at the table could have one, and that's your inspiration token.
Yeah.
Something that I think is even more fascinating is for all of you bards out there who have bardic inspiration, they've sent us these little guys here that are carved in a number of different instrument types. So depending on the instrument that you have, you can just place your dice, your inspiration dice, and all the dice fit in there. It's carved in a way that it will fit several different types of dice.
Yeah, fits both the D6 and the D8s and the D10s.
Yeah, so you pick the instrument that your bard uses, and there's your bardic inspiration, and you can just place your dice there and hand it out to players at the table.
They're ready out of the box, so there's no need to paint anything. All the detail is right there in the pieces, and because of that, they have a very natural, sort of classy feel that I quite like the aesthetic of. It's much better than having unpainted 3D terrain or a map that you're just drawing right out on. If you want something that has that kind of 2D effect that is a little bit more fancy than just using a baseline map.
So make sure to check out Tabletop Things in the links below, and we'll see you next time in the dungeon.